Today, we just might hit 1,000 subscribers. And I know for those of you who have 2,000, 5,000, a million, that might not seem like a lot. But for us, this little channel, that's a milestone, I think. And well, I know it's a milestone. And so we're real happy to be even drawing close to that. Who would have ever thought? And I surely didn't. I can remember back a year ago when I was just having problem with getting 50. Hello, James. We're talking about possibly hitting 1,000 mark today. That would be great, wouldn't it? But I won't get my hopes up. I'll believe it when I see it, and we'll enjoy it whenever it happens. But nice to see you anyway. And I was just saying about how I remember back when I first started that I had to get 50 subscribers before I could even go live, and that was almost now a year ago. So it'd be great if we could go over the 1,000 mark. Might be right in under the wire as to when the first live stream was, because I think you have to hit 1,000 subscribers. Hello, Ethan. We're too cold not to hit 1,000. It's on today. Yeah, how about it? Um, I think that you have to have Ethan close. Yes, we are very close. Yeah, we're too cold. No, it's a beautiful day today, actually. It's up in the 60s today. I was really surprised. I wanted to give my dogs a bath and then I ran out of time, but that's okay. They gone this long without a bath. They've gone. So it's not too late after the live stream. That might be on my to-do list for today. What to do for today? Anyway, so when it hit 52, 55, 60, I'm always reporting to my wife, oh, we hit 60, yippee, we hit 60, we're all the way up to 62. That was fun because you just never know. You just never knew from day to day if it was going to grow or if it was going to die. I just really didn't know. I'd say we will definitely hit it within next 7 days, maybe today if we're lucky. Yep, that would be a good goal. But I won't hold my breath. Okay, if you don't set your expectations too high, you don't get disappointed. Anyway, and so as I was, what was I saying about that? Um, anyway, it just seems like the devil has done everything he could to stop it, and that's what I was going to say though about the Lord. Somebody said, "Don't worry about how many subscribers you get. God will bring to this channel those that He wants to hear good news." And I like that. I thought that was pretty great, pretty profound. It's always been my opinion, though, that everybody likes good news. They're just not sure about this particular good news because it has to do with God. And hello, Jan. Guess what, Jan? We may hit 1,000 today. It's possible, might happen today, might not happen till tomorrow or the next day. We just don't know. But I'm glad you're here to be part of it. How are you, Ethan and Jan? What you've been doing today? Um, so I've always believed, though, that the world's hungry for good news. They might not like this particular good news, but that's okay. This is the only good news worth hearing. We just have to convince people that this is the good news they need. And I've always wrestled with how to do that. Just all you can do is state it, and it's up to them whether or not they want to hear it. The problem for a lot of people, I think, if they suspect there's a God, they have a wrong impression about him because of what somebody's told them or because they've had a negative experience with God themselves. For example, how could God let my child blank? How could God, why did God take my blank, my spouse or whomever? Not realizing that God doesn't do things like that. God doesn't take people. People die because the wages of sin is death, and we've all sinned. We're all going to die. One day or another, it's going to happen to everybody, even you and even me. So that's just part of life. Death is just part of life. And it's because of the fallen nature of mankind, and so we've all sinned. So God doesn't punish people for sin. It's just that because we live in a fallen world and with a fallen nature, we're all going to face death. That's just the way it is. And I'm not trying to be cold about death. I'm just saying we just need to be ready for death. And that's where the Lord comes in. Don't blame God when somebody who's close to you dies. Don't blame God, but thank God if the person's saved, they're in heaven now and they're not suffering in this world anymore. And thank God that you're going to get to see them again if you're saved. That's the good news. That's what people need to hear. Hello, Ahmed. Nice to see you. Cooking, cleaning, Jan says errands. How about you, James? How are you feeling? Anyway, nice to see you there, Ahmed. I didn't mean to say hello and then just bounce right back off of it, but it is truly always good to see you, my friend. Jan, tried to come on time today for Henriette's birthday. I'm so glad you remembered that. I have it written down March 6th, but I would have forgotten it. So thanks, Jan. Thanks for that reminder. James, hyperbaric oxygen therapy and osteopathy. Osteopathy. Ha ha ha. I'm feeling good, thanks. Does that hyperbaric oxygen therapy, does that mean you have to be slid into some kind of machine to have that done to you and you get bombarded with oxygen? I'm just curious. I have no idea. Osteopathy, I have no idea what that involves either. So if you feel like sharing that, if you feel like typing it, we're all ears. We'd like to know exactly what it is your therapy is doing. Gangster boy, hi, how are you? I'm doing great, thank you. I'm doing really good. I'm doing very good. So I don't want to just say, oh, I'm just good. I'm very good, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. Hey, Ahmed. Hey, gangster. How are you guys? Ethan, James, getting my garden plants started early. Wow, you are. It must be quite warm there where you are. So good for you. My wife will. She's getting the bug. I mean, she's getting itchy as far as getting out there in the garden. James, hey, Ahmed Gangster. Okay, read that. Ethan, getting the garden ready. Ahmed, my head still hurts from yesterday's fall. Well, if you be nice today, I promise not to slam you down like that again. But if you do want to see the legs on the way by, that's totally up to you. I mean, it just depends on what's more important. If you're wondering about that joke, it's an ongoing joke. My wife has always told me one of the things that was attractive to her about me was my nice legs. So, okay, my legs to me look just like everybody else's legs. I don't see what's nice about them. I don't see what's not nice about them. But if that's what pleases my wife, then that's important to me too. So there's nothing special that I do to them either. They're just legs. Anyway, let's see. I'm glad you're getting therapy. Yes, Jan. Muslim Warrior, hello. Nice to see you, gal. Can I call you a gal? Nice to see you anyway. A good gal. Gangster boy, I just had a physical fight today. I'm mentally disturbed. Can you tell me what to do? Sorry to hear that. I I don't get really concerned when people say they're mentally disturbed, truly, because I think all of us to some degree are mentally disturbed, a little dysfunctional because of childhood and traumas and past events, whether it was abuse, whether it was physical, or whether it was mental, emotional, or the other kind. I think that all of us have problems that we need to overcome, outgrow with the Lord's help. And that's the only way it can be done. So if you're trusting God for your ability to overcome, maybe it's a quick temper, maybe it's uh, just a desire to hurt other people. I mean, I'm not kidding. Different different motivators for different people, right? And whatever it is that caused you to get into a physical fight, maybe it's just the inability to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. I mean, the Lord has the answers for everything. Of that, I am convinced. And that's why I chose today's topic, because in this topic, I think you're going to find the answer for every problem under the sun. So keep coming back, keep listening, and little by little, I think God will get some good truth into your soul, and you'll see that He makes a difference. Indoors in cups for now. LOL, it's snowing right now. Oh, in cups. Okay. um, yeah, that's my wife has already started her indoor garden too, in plastic trays with seedlings, and they're looking good. I mean, she's already transplanted them one time into bigger containers or separated them. I forget which. Jen, it's 80 here. Wow. Yay, yay, Texas. They always do everything big, including the temperature. uh, that's pretty hot already for March. I'm amazed. James, put into a metal can that's pressurized to double atmospheric pressure while breathing in pure oxygen, invented by a British clergyman in 1662. How about that? Was Nathaniel Henshaw. It helps with tons of different things. Um, so that's amazing that it's lasted for so long and still in use today. So it must have done a really good job. Those those preachers, I tell you, they're pretty clever, aren't they? I feel bad now. I never invented anything. Anyway, Melissa, nice to see you. King James Bible, ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Yeah, I was just stabbing in the dark there, Melissa. I'm not sure what caused the problem. I was just pulling a couple suggestions just in case it was one of those, because I know the Lord can get control of bad temper and settle us down and change us from within and make us happier, kinder, nicer, politer, more polite, sweeter, all those things. I believe that's exactly what the Holy Spirit does. Ahmed, I planted spring onions yesterday and sweet potatoes, Ethan. Boy, you're a man, both of you, man after my wife's own heart. She loves to garden. She's always wanted to garden, and we finally live in with a yard big enough for her to have a nice garden. And I tell her, make it big as you want. That's less grass I have to cut. Lighthouse, greetings, beloved. Shalom, family. Gangster, I got annoyed by that boy's behavior and body language. Yeah, okay. That's fair. But we got to realize that there are annoying people out there, are there not? And we can't just start fighting each one of them. Otherwise, we'd all be fighting all the time, because if you think about it, there's something about everybody that could annoy us if we let it. So we only get annoyed if we allow ourselves to, truly. Um, and I'm trying to say this delicately, because I know there's annoying things about me too, and my wife has put up with it for 42 years or so, something like that. Yep. And vice versa. And you could say the same about people, even in the church, or people at work, or in your case, it said people at school, or I think it was at school. So we just have to let those annoyances bounce off of us by, first of all, I believe there's three options. You can either live with it, and if you can't live with it, then try to change it by going to the person and saying, when you do thus and such, it's really annoying. It really drives me crazy, in fact. And if they're not willing to change, and if you can't live with it, then you have to just get away from it. That's the only other option. Just walk away. Just get away from it. Just don't be around that person if you can help it. But that's totally your choice how you're going to react. Nobody can make me angry enough to fight them. I will only get angry enough to start swinging if I allow that to take place. So again, that's where the Lord is the one who can settle me down, calm me down. And I think next time you get annoyed, pray. Seriously, I always say pray where you're stuck. Well, if this person is annoying and you're stuck with that person in class or in the same room or in the same bus or whatever, wherever you're stuck with them, pray, Lord, please soften my attitude and soften my heart. I want to be a kind person. That sort of thing. We pray about these things, and you watch what God does with it. Lighthouse, greetings, beloved. Shalom, family. Hello, Lighthouse. Oh, I think we did that already. Muslim warrior. We got farmers here now. Cool. Gregory. Oh, hi, Gregory. Nice to see you. Sweet potatoes is a good idea. I've only grown regular potatoes so far. Hello, everybody. I don't like sweet potatoes. Did everybody here like sweet potatoes? I can never develop a taste for them. I'm a potato man for sure, just not sweet potatoes. And at Thanksgiving here in America, they usually have sweet potatoes, but my wife dresses them up with marshmallows on top and brown sugar. And I know that might sound awful if you've never tried that, but that's the only way I can eat them. The sweet potatoes even a little sweeter still. Melted marshmallows, not not just marshmallows sitting on top. It's put them in the oven, and they're actually pretty good that way. If you believe that you are definitely gullible. Oh, okay. Yeah. See, gangster boy, that annoys me. And probably if he was sitting here, I'd clobber him one. I could have dropped him on his head, that's for sure. All righty. Let's see. Jan, here I thought you were a, a, a man of the dirt. Well, you actually are. We're all made, Adam was made out of the dust of the earth, and we're all his descendants, aren't we? So, yeah, I'm definitely gullible. Ha, ha, ha. I just like to trust people, but you've already proven too many times that I can't believe a word you said. That's what Gregory said yesterday. Oh, well, did that to yourself. Anyway, Gregory, I don't even like potatoes. I just want to see if I could grow them. Interesting. Well, ship them on over here. No, not the sweet potatoes. Ethan, nice, Ahmed. I love sweet potatoes. I'm doing mostly peppers this year because I make hot sauce. I like hot sauce if it's mild. Winter left in January, says Jan. It didn't even say goodbye. And I bet you didn't invite it to come back just so that you could say goodbye. I don't like winter. I'm waiting for it to be done. Gangster boy, by the way, Billy, you are wearing a nice shirt. Thank you. I have the same color shirt, but different brand and design. Yeah, I have no idea about the brands. I just see a nice shirt and or somebody gives it to me. Ahmed, that's weird. I guess my wife. Ahmed, LOL, I can also try to plant some tomatoes because July sure is hot in Bulgaria. I heard that. You're the second person or third even to say that here. So yeah, you go ahead and plant away while the weather's so nice. And I bet you it's going to stay hot all the way through Christmas, probably. Gregory, tomatoes are a lot of work, but so worth it. Definitely do tomatoes this year. Yeah, we do tomatoes. We love tomatoes. We eat tomatoes on everything. Sometimes I just like to bite into a tomato all by itself. A little salt on the one hand, a little mayonnaise on the other. And boy, that makes a fancy treat. James 12th Tree, aren't tomatoes perennial? So they should come back for 2 years, I believe, before needing redoing. When we moved here, they had planted cherry tomatoes, those little bitty ones. And every year they come back and they spread. So we never have planted yet a cherry tomato, and we always have more cherry tomatoes than we can possibly ever use. So they do come back. You're right. I don't know about the bigger ones, though. We've never seen those come back, but we got cherry tomatoes grow like weeds. Here, hold on one second. You're welcome. No problem. Ahmed, what, Greg? No, tomatoes are so easy. We plant corn for chickens and pigs. Grain, we make our own flour at the village mill, and potatoes, onions, of course, OFC, I guess, of course, garlic, pepper, OFC garlic, maybe not, of course, garlic, but OFC garlic, peppers, cucumbers, watermelons, strawberries, and pumpkins. Are you a farmer? Do you live on a farm? Or are you testing my gullibility? And at July, I got back to help my dad with voting the grass for the cows and sheep. Should we give the cows and the sheep some grass? I don't know. Let's vote on it. uh, let's see, sorry, for voting the grass for the cows and sheep, we do it with sickle, cycle. It's so lovely to see the grass flow and fall with each strike. Oh, okay, one of those sickles, the curvy thing that's sharp that you could cut somebody's leg off if you're not careful. Gangster boy, I love sweet potatoes. Voting the grass, LOL. Yeah. I love French fries and ramen noodles. Oh boy, I love French fries too. And I had French people tell me those are not French. They are fried potatoes. They're not French, but okay. And something else they said is not French. What do we call French? French something. I don't know. Jan, sweet potatoes. Oh, French fried sweet potatoes. How about that? I might like that. I don't know. Ramen noodles, they're just easy. Those are nice because they're so simple, aren't they? And you can make other things with them too and add stuff to them. I hated sweet potatoes as a kid, but now I can get enough. No, I can't get enough, especially sweet potato fries. I'm gonna have to try them. Gregory, I hated sweet potatoes too. Now it's the only kind of potato I consume. And I love croissant. Did I say that even close? Those I think are French. You all make me hungry. All right, break time. Let's time to eat. Let's go get lunch. Ahmed, LOL. Ethan, I make hot sauce ranging from super mild to super hot. The last batch probably shouldn't be consumed by people with heart conditions. Too hot. Yeah, that would do me in. I would get heartburn, if not death. I would definitely get a burn in my chest. Anyway, Gregory, I think Jerry's going to write to you about uh, this guy that her brother knows over there. He's going to write to him this afternoon, he said. And so we're going to have to wait for him to get back to him. And then we'll let you know. Just wanted to mention that while I was thinking about it. I meant to write to you earlier and then I completely forgot. So don't forget, as Jan pointed out, today's Henriette's birthday. If she comes in, we're going to have to remember to say happy birthday to her. We need to invite Benny to ask if you, hold on, pronounce cross. Yeah, I'm not going to try it again. But living next to French border, it was dangerously close. I know you have to say it through your nose, not through, not through your mouth. Well, that sounds like a stereotype, doesn't it? Anyway, we need to invite you. Okay, just read that. James, French fries are disputed between France and Belgium, who invented them. However, I also heard that pizza is not Italian. Can you believe that? I mean, it is now. It's considered one of the Italian foods, but I heard that it didn't originate in Italy. Um, let's see. It's thought to be 17th century in the that valley due to cold weather, so they couldn't catch fish. So fried potatoes. Interesting. Hmm. Probably won't find any of this in a history book. Gregory. Oh, good. Yep. Yeah. And Jerry reminded him that you can't travel, and so I'm going to see what he comes up with, because apparently he's in the area. And so anyway, Jerry can tell you more details. She said she was going to write to you. The Bulgarian countryside is mamma mia. That's a spicy meatball. Jan, you remember that commercial? Image having wild roses everywhere. It sounds beautiful. Bulgarian countryside. Image having wild roses everywhere. That sounds really nice. Gangster boy, I love KFC fried chicken bucket. Yep, I eat the chicken too, not just the bucket. Ahmed, who doesn't, bro? Gangster boy with the mayonnaise. Mm-mm. Gregory, pizza is tricky. I think many have spilled sauce over bread before they named it. Yeah, probably. That's probably true. Ahmed, a lot of people don't like KFC. How dare they? I could eat KFC every day. Do you have KFC in every country? How about you, Muslim warrior? Did you ever have KFC in Iran? And do you have it now? I'm just curious. Ahmed, well, I'm not one of those. Yes, good for you. You're my best friend, Ahmed. Yep, me and the Colonel, we go way back. Hi, Billy. Hello. Hi, Bilal. Bilal, another Ahmed. Look at that. Jan, Billy, do you dip your pizza in? Oh, do I? Yes, I do. In fact, I take the bottle of ranch dressing and just go up and down on the slice of pizza. So as not to overdo it, I make a thin line, but every bite of pizza has a ranch dressing with it. It's wonderful. They're going to think we Americans are crazier than they already think we are. Let's see. I'm good. And how are you, Bilal? Bilal. Anyway, Jan, Ethan. KFC came to Estonia about 8 years ago, I think. And is it as good there as it is in? I mean, how would you know? It should be the same recipe worldwide, but I understand that whichever country a restaurant chain goes into, because they have to use the ingredients that are in that country, things might taste a little different, especially cheese and even sauces, things like that. But there's only so many herbs and spices that you can use to cook chicken. I don't see how it could be radically different. Anyway, the chickens aren't as tasty. I do know that. Gangster boy. Yes, I believe that KFC is there in every country. Interesting. Ahmed says, my twin is here now. Yeah, that's funny. One of you has that as first name, the other one has it as last part of the name. I know somebody else in here that has something similar going on as well. First name, their first name is somebody else's last name. How about it? Only they spell it differently. My twin is here now. Yes, Ethan. I live in Montana. We dip everything in ranch, Jan. Yeah, he's. Never mind. I was gonna say he's not talking about the dressing. He's talking about his actual ranch, but that didn't make any sense. So I'm glad I didn't say it. Ahmeds are taking over the chat. Oh no. Well, at least we got one out of two good ones. The new one is the good one. Just kidding, Ahmed. You deserve that. Jan, haha. Gregory, pizza and ranch. Oh no, it's good. It's good. You know what else I understand is good? I haven't tried it yet, but it said it's delicious. Don't knock it until you've tried it. But you take a pita bread, the kind that you roll or make. You can use any kind of circular bread. You put uh, 2 inches of peanut butter on it. Then you crunch up some cheese, uh, potato chips. Crunch it, or yeah, you scrunch them up and you sprinkle the cheese potato chips on top of it. And then you put on your favorite barbecue sauce. And then you roll it up. And it's supposed to be delectable. And I'm going to tell you, those Americans, they know how to eat. They know what they're talking about. They do. You can tell how we all know how to eat. Anyway, I've not tried that, but it's on my bingo card. I also don't like KFC. Oh, get out of here. Get out of our chat. Just playing. I don't like KFC. It's so bland. Oh man, you must not have the right recipe. They charge extra money for mayonnaise. Who does that? Yeah, who puts mayonnaise on chicken? No, I'm just kidding. I do. But anyway, if it's bland, then they're not cooking it properly. Trust me, KFC has got wonderful spices. Okay, um, Ahmed, pizza with pineapple is also mamma mia. I heard that. I've not tried it yet, but I've heard that. You can put pineapple on several things, actually. There's all kinds of combinations that people try that sometimes turn out to be pretty good. Pizza with pineapple. Mm-mm. James, the etymology of the word pizza originates from ancient Greek language. So it's probably Byzantine Empire that invented pizza. Italy, it was 997 AD, appearing in the Codex Diplomaticus Caestina first. Alrighty, I really, it to me, it doesn't matter where it came from. The fact that it's here, that's what matters. Pizza is actually one of my favorite dishes, and I know it's even made differently in different parts of the world. We put a lot of red sauce on it. Some countries don't put any sauce on it, and some countries put some kind of white sauce on it. That's not it's cheese sauce, I guess. But anyway, I like the good old fashioned red sauce with lots of mozzarella cheese and pepperoni is my favorite topping. Sausage works too. I love mushrooms on pizza. So, well, how did we get start talking about food? Every kind of food. Gregory Ahmed, don't let the Italian authorities see that message. You'll get banned. Pizza with pineapple. Oh my. No, that was Ahmed said that. James, time. Yeah, it's probably a good time to go ahead and get started before we faint from hunger. Jerry the Dudette is here. Hello, Jerry the Dudette. Gregory said, "Hi, Jerry." And Jerry, I told him about your brother's email that he's going to send this afternoon, hopefully, and hopefully we'll hear back from him. But if I didn't get into details, so if you wanted to say anything in addition to that, you could do that. You could do that if you want to. I don't like pineapple on pizza. It's definitely a crime. Yeah, I'm not sure I would like that. Ahmed, you in college? Come on. No. Dog pushed open the door but did not come in. It's definitely a crime. Muslim warrior. Ahmed, you in college? Italians actually have good reason why you shouldn't combine mozzarella with pineapple. It's not good for your stomach acid. Interesting. Yeah, how about that? I've never tried it. I don't suspect I would want to try to poison a pizza with pineapple and it ruins the whole pizza, right? Maybe if you could try one slice, maybe I could try that. Ahmed, no, he turned 70 yesterday. Yeah, he's my twin brother. Turned 70. Nice age. No, he's trying to prove that we're gullible. Uh, you a girl? I can't see your photo. Yes, I'm a girl. Again, don't believe a word he says. It's the 21st century. I chose to be a giraffe with two legs. That's how he identifies. Two-legged giraffe. Boing, boing. Anyway, I love pepperoni. Margarita veggie. So you can get a margarita in the flavor of pepperoni. That's interesting, if that's what you're saying. Gangster boy, I think I should stop eating fried chicken because I'm getting pimples because of it. Yep, very greasy, is it not? And mouth ulcers. Yeah, if you're getting mouth ulcers, of course, those can be caused by lots of things. If you're stressed, if you have a lot of stress going on, it can break out inside your mouth and as little ulcers. Jan is back. Hi, Jan. Welcome back. Bilal Ahmed. I can cook better chicken in this world. If in this world we meet, I will offer you and eat together. That would be great. That's almost worth making a plan. Wouldn't it be cool if flights were cheap and the world was at peace and things like that, and we could all find a meeting place somewhere and just get together and have a big feast and good conversation and lots of hugs and just it would be nice. Anyway, I like feta and goat cheese on pizza. I love goat cheese. I do. We used to dip nachos in goat cheese. Oh, it was fantastic. Ahmed, did you guys know I once bought a cheese wheel and I had to throw all of it after it caught mold, and it was like 12 kilograms. Greg, help me in pounds. Yeah, that's too bad if you had to throw away the cheese wheel. How did you transport cheese after that? Horseback. Alrighty, Gregory, 12 kilograms is around 26 pounds. Jerry the Dudette. Gregory, my brother, is supposed to email the missionary source he has in Aosta and copy me on the email this afternoon. Pray he remembers. Yeah, Gregory, let her know if it's okay that all that information was just put on there. I was trying to be vague, but anyway, maybe it's okay. Um, so, Muslim warrior, why would you need 12 kilograms of cheese, Ahmed? Yeah, that's a lot of cheese. Jerry, my pleasure. Ethan, my step grandparents are from Sicily. That's where my wife's family's from, Sicily. How about I should have let her say that? They would murder me for putting pineapple on pizza, so I have to hide my guilty pleasure. LOL. My wife has actually pizza pans from her great grandmother, I think, and because she had a pizza shop in Sicily. And so somehow those pizza pans came over to America with her, got passed down through the family, and we have Sicilian pizza pans. How about that? Anyway, I just thought that was cool. Have you tried quesabiria? Quesabiria. Nope, I never even heard of that. Jan, margarita is a type of pizza. How about that? Tomato, basil, and garlic. Sounds good. How about it? I never heard that. Ahmed, I need to get out more often. Well, we are not in Italy, honey. Here, Bulgaria and America, we cut corners. Ahmed, pineapple on pizza is like cold water on the desert. It's fruity, juicy. Yeah, I've never tried it. Can't knock it till I've tried it. Jan, LOL, Ethan, Jerry the Dudette, sorry. It's fine. I've said it here before once. So, okay. Yeah, things do so far so good, right? We're all still here. Pineapple on pizza actually tastes good, but horrible for our stomachs, apparently. Don't let Italians know I said that. They'll deport me. Gangster Billy, I recommend you to try butter chicken and naan once in your life. What's naan? Butter chicken sounds good. My wife's grandmother used to make amazing chicken, and it would take her a long time, but it was right up there with KFC, I must say. Um, let's see, Ahmed, you in trouble, Greg? I'm sending that to the Italian embassy. uh, Nan is a type of bread. Okay. I thought it stood for grandma. She's my Nan. Anyway, thanks for the clarification. Gregory Ahmed, their email doesn't work. They're Italians. Ethan, can we read a passage before we get into the topic? Yes, we can. Proverbs 3, 1 through 6. Job, Psalm, Proverbs 3, 1 through 6. Be happy to do that. My son, do not forget my teaching, but keep my commands in your heart. And this is important, isn't it? That's why we can never get tired of reading the Bible, because we want to keep these things in our heart. We don't want to forget. We don't want them to slip away from us gradually, because that's what happens. For they will prolong your life many years and bring you prosperity. Let love and faithfulness never leave you. Bind them around your neck, write them on the tablets of your heart. Then you will win favor and a good name in the sight of God and man. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight, or direct your paths. I love that. There's even a song out about that we learned a long, long time ago in Vacation Bible School. And lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him. You see, if we lean on our own understanding, we might get sidetracked or we might get deceived, because the heart, the Bible says, is deceitful above all things. So I don't want to trust my heart to be able to figure out truth. I want God's truth from the Bible. Okay. So yeah, that's a great passage, Ethan. Jan with a smile. Hey, for those of you that just joined in, we might hit 1,000 subscribers today. That would be a woohoo for sure. So we might sing happy birthday to Henriette when she gets here, and then we might sing for I'm a Jolly Good Fellow or something. So if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, you could help us out to get to 1,000. That would be good. That would be wonderful. Let's see, Gangster Boy. Yeah, it's made of flour, Nan, and a lot of butter. It's applied, and butter is applied on top of it. Sounds good. It tastes so crunchy and delicious. Jerry the Dudette, my great grandmother came here from Sicily on the boat, as they say. She actually started the very first pizzeria in our city. Did she not have a pizza place in Sicily? But she had the first pizzeria here. So I must have forgotten that detail or mixed up that detail, because I told them that she had a pizzeria in Sicily because she brought pizza pans with her, didn't she? Isn't that where the pizza pans came from, Sicily? Can't trust my memory. Jan, that's cool. Are you Arboresh by any chance, or Greek, Jerry? Jerry, Ahmed, is that question for me? Yeah, I think so. I sometimes call her Gry too, or Gray. Take your pick, however you want to pronounce it. James, that's cool, Jerry. So is that 1800s then that your great grandfather started the pizzeria? Ahmed, back. Jerry, I don't know where they came from. I thought you said they were from Sicily. Oh, the pizza pans. You don't know where they came from. Okay. Well, never mind. I thought it was a cool story, but apparently it's all wrong. Anyway, hello, Tirth. Nice to see you. Bilal, butter chicken and naan are Indian dish. Oh, okay. That's cool. Mystery pizza pans, yeah. And now we'll never know. It's not like you can take them and have them evaluated and say, oh, these are alloys from Sicily. No, it's American. Probably made in China. Who knows? Anyway, I chose today's topic because this chapter, it's in Hebrews. If you want to turn there, we can go ahead and get started soon. Bilal, Indian dishes are the best, says Gangster Boy. Jerry, James, yes, in the 1800s. Ahmed, there are many Arboresh and Greek in Sicily that migrated there in the 13th century from Greece and Albania. Okay. That's interesting. Historical fact. Shall we get started? Everybody ready? Hebrews chapter 11. Now, the reason I chose this chapter is because it's called the Faith Hall of Fame, and it shows us what good faith is and what good faith leads to. And it goes back to some things we were talking about yesterday, and it also answers the question that was posed for today's topic. And because I believe this chapter will cover every question, and so hear me out on this too, please, and then we can talk about it. Just an advice: never touch an eye if your finger had some peppermint oil. Yikes! Better go run wash that out. Actually, sorry to be laughing, Lighthouse B. So first thing that we get in Hebrews chapter 11 is a good definition of faith. And if you've not heard this before, it's the first definition of faith. There's a couple other elements of faith as we read that I'll point out as we go. Okay. Verse 1. Now, faith, think about this. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. That kind of faith. They were sure of what they hoped for and certain of what they do not see. So, what do we hope for? Well, you're hoping for God to answer prayer. You're hoping for God to keep his promises. You're hopeful that there's life after death because God says so. You're hoping that you're ready to go, you're prepared for heaven when you die. Those are things that we hope for, but are you sure about them? Well, see, faith is what enables us to become sure, because faith is a choice. So I'm either going to believe what the Bible says and all of God's promises and give him a chance to prove himself to me, or I'm not. I'm going to doubt, and therefore I'll never be sure. Well, that's not faith. Doubt is the opposite of faith. Faith and doubt are opposites. So faith is being sure of what we hope for. And how can I be sure of all these things I hope for? Well, because you start off with a little bit of faith, you take baby steps towards God. God answers a prayer, or God shows himself to you in some way. God works in circumstances in answer to your prayer, but in some way you can see the hand of God working. And so you become sure that, there is a God. Okay, I think he's showing himself to me. I think there's too many coincidences in my life for it just to be only coincidence. Somebody's directing affairs from a higher place. And so little bit at a time, your faith becomes more and more sure of the things that you hope for that are in God's word, the promises. Okay. So start small, but start. And faith is, again, as I said, is a choice. I can either choose to give it a chance or choose to walk away. And I hope we'll make the right choice. Okay. So it's being sure of what we hope for, and it's certain of what we do not see. Can you see God? No. Have you seen heaven? No. Have other people seen heaven? Yes. Do we believe their testimony? I certainly do. And Paul has proven himself to me time and time and time and time again as an intelligent man, a lover of God, a lover of the church, a speaker for the truth, not caring who didn't like what he had to say, but just speaking the truth in love. And he got ridiculed, he got beaten, put in prison, but Paul has proven himself by his actions. So he saw heaven. So can I see heaven? I can see heaven through Paul's eyes because I believe every word that man wrote. Now, I didn't used to, but I do now. And John also got glimpses of heaven. I believe John. Okay, so and that takes faith. So faith is being sure of what I hope for, that Paul and John are accurate and correct. I'm sure of that. And now I can also say faith is, I'm certain of what I do not see. How can I be certain that there is a God? Well, logic demands it. We've talked about this many times. Look at the stars in the sky. Where'd all that come from? And if you say it accidentally banged out of nothing, that takes more faith to believe than that there was a creator God who made all of that. Okay, so what is faith? Faith is being sure of what you hope for and certain of what you do not see. And the more faith you have, because it says this is what the ancients were commended for. So the more faith you have, the more God will commend you, because faith grows. How does faith grow? The Bible says faith comes through hearing the word. Okay. And I also believe that faith comes by exercising what faith you have. As I just said, start with a little bit of faith, let God prove himself to you, and that increases your faith. And then you put a little bit more faith in God, and he does a little more for you, or teaches you more wisdom and insights. And so as you're growing, your faith is growing too. And that's what the ancients were commended for. Okay, that's just one verse. Now here's some examples. Verse 3. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command. By faith. Nobody was there in the beginning, but God's word, which also has proven itself as accurate, factual, and does not contradict. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed. Why? Because that's what the Bible teaches. And God is so powerful that all he had to do was command something to exist, and it came into existence. So we understand by faith that the universe was formed at God's command. There wasn't anybody there to see the Big Bang either. It's just a theory. And so there's two options. And again, that's why there's two options. God gave us a free will, and there has to be another option that we can choose if we want to, so that we don't have to believe in God's commands to create the universe, nor do we have to believe that God's word is accurate. So you have an option. Either you can choose, because faith is a choice, either you can choose to believe the evidence that you can see with your own eyes, as well as what the Bible says, or you can choose to believe the alternative. But they both take faith, is my point, because nobody was there. Nobody was able to document it, except for Moses, because God told Moses what to write, and Moses wrote these things down. So there was somebody there after the fact who got all this information directly from God's Spirit and wrote it down. How about that? Okay. So here, let me read verse 3 again. By faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. And isn't that part of what faith is? It's being certain of what we do not see. Faith is being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. So by faith, we believe that the universe was formed at God's command. First of all, it's logical. Second of all, the Bible says so. But by faith, we believe that what was seen was so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible, because nothing is invisible, right? There was nothing there when God decided to start creating. Now, God can take nothing and make it something, but science cannot take nothing and make it something. So there again, that disproves the evolution theory and the Big Bang theory, okay? You can't get something out of nothing, no matter how hard you try. Nor can you get order. God made order out of chaos, but that will never accidentally happen. Anyway, we've talked about all that too. But now we're going to start to get into some people. And this is what I find compelling and rewarding, just to see what kind of faith they were commended for. That's the kind of faith I want. And as we're reading through here, I hope that you will be able to also say, yes, this is the kind of faith I would like to have. I hope that we can all grow into this amount of faith. Okay, look at verse 4. By faith, Abel offered God a better sacrifice than Cain did. And some people say, well, why would God choose an animal sacrifice over a grain sacrifice? Because they were both pleasing to God, and that's not what caused Abel's sacrifice to be better. Abel made a sacrifice right away, right at the top, gave the best of his flock. Cain, it says, in the course of time, he brought his sacrifice. In other words, to Cain, it wasn't that important. He did it when he got around to it. That's why Abel's sacrifice was better. It wasn't that God favored the meat sacrifice over the grain sacrifice. It's just that he favored the attitude of bringing the sacrifice. Abel was quick right there to do it. Abel wanted to please God. Cain said, "Oh, when I get to it, I'll get to it." I'm you know, paraphrasing a lot here, but that's basically what it says. Okay, so by faith, that's Abel, because of the better sacrifice, was commended as a righteous man. You see, when a person in the Old Testament had faith, God declared them to be righteous because of their faith. So Abel was commended as a righteous man when God spoke well of his offerings. Now listen to this. And by faith, he still speaks, even though he's dead. How does Abel still speak? Well, he just spoke, did he not? We know that God is pleased with the right kind of attitude. Doesn't matter what kind of sacrifice you bring. What matters is are you bringing it to God? Are you honoring God with it? Whether it's a sacrifice of money, whether it's your sacrifice of time, whether it's your sacrifice of love or compassion or service. There are many kinds of sacrifices. Worship, it's all sacrifices that we bring to honor God with. And so God spoke well of his offerings, and by faith, he still speaks to us when we read what he did, even though he's long dead. That was Abraham. That was Adam and Eve's children. That was after the fall, right after the garden, when they got kicked out of or maybe even, no, it was probably after the garden. But anyway, so here's verse 5. You know, people ask me all the time, what do you think about the book of Enoch or Enoch? Enoch, verse 5. By faith, Enoch was taken from this life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. Notice verse 5 again says, by faith, Enoch was taken. Enoch walked with God. He was a man of faith. And look at verse 6. And without faith, it is impossible to please God for two reasons. Because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists, and that's part of faith, right? We've made that choice. I believe you all have made that choice, that you're sure of what we hope for, you're certain of what we do not see. So there's no doubt in your minds that God exists. So that's the first thing. But secondly, and this one is so very important, that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. He rewards those of us who earnestly seek him, not just like Cain, I'll get around to it if I feel like it, or I'll do it, well, if I have to. Yeah, I'll read my Bible, I suppose. Okay, I'll pray. I don't know what I want to pray about. I don't know how to pray. I don't care to know. I don't really want to feel like I'm talking to myself, and on and on and on. We make up excuses, right? And I'm saying to you, God rewards those who earnestly seek him. So if you're stuck, for example, in your prayer life, you pray to God to teach me how to pray. That's exactly what the disciples said to Jesus. Teach us how to pray. Not, we don't know how to pray, so we're not going to pray. Things like that. They didn't excuse themselves from drawing closer to God in a relationship. So you must first believe that he exists, and then secondly, you have to believe by faith that he rewards those who earnestly seek him, wholeheartedly seek him, earnestly, with all of your effort. Seek him because he is the most important being that you could find. And he doesn't just play hide and seek with us. He wants us to find him. He gives us enough clues, enough evidence to believe that he exists. Now he wants to know, how badly do you want to know me? Because he wants to reveal himself to us. That's why he wrote the Bible, actually, to reveal himself to us. That's why he came as Jesus, to reveal himself to us. I like that chapter, although my NIV has some different words. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, it's okay. It still means basically the same thing, right? If you feel like typing a little bit, tell us what verse and what word is different. I'm curious. I could look it up on the computer and read both, but I'm just curious what it says there. Okay, let me re-emphasize that while Gregory's typing. Without faith, it is impossible to please God because it's all built on faith. It's all based on faith. Without faith, you can't please God because you have to have faith to believe that He exists. And you have to exercise faith even a little bit to believe that He rewards those who earnestly seek Him. By faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. Yeah, okay. That's by faith, Abel offered God a better sacrifice than Cain did. Yeah, same thing, different word order. And yours says offering, mine says sacrifice, but that's what a sacrifice is. It's the offering for for sin and just for worship. In this case, it was for worship. Okay. So without faith, it's impossible to please God because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists. And I think you've all accomplished that one already, right? You might not have understood him completely or know him well, but at least by faith you believe that he exists. Now I'm asking you to believe by faith that he rewards those who earnestly seek him and put a whole lot of effort into that. Call out to God, talk to God all throughout the day. Just say, God, I want to believe with all of my heart that you want to reward me because that's what your word says. And faith is being certain of what we do not, being sure of what we hope for and certain of what we do not see. So I'm certain that you're there. Now I want to be sure of what I hope for, that you really will reward me for seeking you earnestly, right? That's what God does. That's who God is. And by reading this, we get a better understanding of who our God is and just how much he loves us and what he wants to do for us just by reading it, just by reading how these people lived by faith. And you're in for a good ride here, okay? We might not do all of this today, but it's worth our time to read this. So, what about people who met Jesus after the resurrection? Is there still faith if you know for sure? And would these people be held to a higher standard for knowing? Yeah, that's a good point, Ethan, because the Bible does say, to him who has been given much, much more will be expected. So we've been given much more than the people of the Old Testament because we've been given the fuller and final revelation of God through Jesus. So we've got the whole picture. So yeah, we put our, and it's faith, we put our faith in the death of Christ where they could only believe that a deliverer Messiah was going to come. We put our faith in the deliverer Messiah who already came. Can God also find people, not just people God? You know what? People cannot find God if God wasn't drawing people. So God is drawing all people. They might resist him. I know I did. There are people that just don't want to come completely his way, and even people like me who do come 50% of the way and maybe 70. Okay, maybe I'll bump that up to 80, but okay, not too much here. That's just the way I came. Yeah, considering that God found you, yeah, and that's what he did, Muslim warrior. He found you, and he revealed himself to you, and that's what started you looking for him. And I maintain that he does that for everybody. Many are called, everybody, in fact, but few are chosen. So, who are the chosen few? Those who respond to the call of God. So you're chosen not because you're special, although you are special in God's eyes, but God doesn't favor you over other people, but you are special in that you answered the call. God called, God directed, God gently wooed, God revealed. Somehow you started to suspect that there's a God, and for some reason, and it's different for every person, each one of us decided we wanted to look more into him. And we're still finding more and more, are we not? So, yes, God calls everybody, but only those who respond, God chooses. I mean, why would you choose people that don't care anything about you, right? Right. That's how you even make friendships, right? We might reach out to a bunch of people, but the only ones we're going to be friends with are the ones who reach back, right? So they're chosen in our eyes for the same reason. They responded. I reached out, they responded, and that's who God is. We're created in his image, so it only makes sense that he does the same thing. Muslim warrior, that was the catch. God came to Saul. So I'd say yes, right. I maintain that God comes to everybody in one way, shape, or form. Even like Abraham, it is written in historical accounts that Abraham looked up and saw the stars and started to reason to himself, there had to be a creator of this. Okay. And so God came to him in the creation. You see his invisible qualities. So God revealed himself to Abraham through those invisible qualities, his eternal power and his divine nature. You can get that from looking at the stars if you contemplate on it. So Abraham saw God's invisible qualities. And so he started seeking God. And Abraham became a great man of faith. I cannot speak highly enough about Abraham and what he went through for God, towards God, because of his faith. I know a guy whose name is invisible. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we all do. How about that? And it's easy to pronounce too. uh, Okay, Gregory, chapter 12 is great too. Yep, let's throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles and run the race marked out before us. And we do that by fixing our eyes on Jesus, the author and finisher, or the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. And that's what Jesus is in the process of doing. He's perfecting our faith. He's doing the finishing touches. That's what God does through Jesus. So let's keep running this great race with perseverance, because we're not going to fail and we're not going to fall if we keep our eyes on Jesus, right? But even if we do falter or fall or even drop out of the race a little while or just get tired of running and take a break, God understands that. And God is not going to let us give up. I mean, he will do everything within his power to call us back. Jesus left the 99 to go out and find the one. And if you are that one, he will find you. Okay. He won't stop looking until he gets your attention again. And I love that about him. Uh, Gregory, I also have an NIV, but a year or two ago I got an ESV. I like it, but my NIV has been there through it all. Yeah, that's why I have a hard time parting with it. Honestly, it's the one that brought me to the Lord when other translations only confused me. What's an NIV and an ESV? NIV, okay, here we go. Uh, Bible translations. NIV is New International Version. That's the NIV. And the ESV, Greg says, I think is the English Standard Version. Okay. Lighthouse, Sir Billy, may I kindly ask to shortly dive into Hebrews 4, the Sabbath rest? Thank you very much. Yeah, I will be happy to do that. So keep your fingers on the page. And I don't mind going around here a little bit if it's raising questions. Gregory, NIV, ESV, KJV, etc., is not too difficult for me. Estonian Bible, however, that thing scares me. Yeah. KJV is difficult for me only because that's William Shakespeare's language of hundreds of years ago, and we don't talk like that anymore. I want an Ethiopian Bible. There you go. They have all the books in their Bible. Could probably get one on Amazon. Alrighty, Hebrews chapter 4, the Sabbath rest. All right, now you got to remember here when we're talking about Hebrews chapter 4, we're going to talk about 3 different Sabbath rests. The first one is when God created the world, he took the 7th day and rested. That's the first Sabbath rest. The second Sabbath rest is the one that he gave to the Israelite people and said, keep it holy. He even included it into a commandment. So keep the Sabbath holy. That's the 7th day of the week, Saturday. And then the other Sabbath rest is the heavenly one. This Sabbath rest, the Saturday, was a shadow of the real Sabbath rest, which we're going to one day all get to in heaven. So this was God's Sabbath rest is our example. This was the Old Testament Sabbath rest that he gave to the people to show them you need a rest, okay? And that's good advice for us too. We don't have it as a command, but it's still a good idea to take at least one and sometimes even more than one day off. And then we have heaven. That's the ultimate Sabbath rest. So keep that in mind when we're reading it. So I'll call them 1, 2, and 3. God's Sabbath rest, Israel's Sabbath rest, heaven, our Sabbath rest. Okay, so keep that in mind. Maybe you are possessed, Greg. That's scary. That's funny. But yeah, not a topic of jokes. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, Gregory, didn't mean to laugh. So yeah, circumstances. Okay, my bad. Well, I'm joking. Sorry if it's not related to today's theme. Oh, that's okay. It all relates one way or another, doesn't it? Solomon would say a time for seriousness and a time for jokes. Yeah, that is what he said too, isn't it? We read that. Billy laughed. Yeah, because initially I thought it was funny until I realized there's circumstances that you don't know or need to know, but I just that slipped my mind. And so I apologize for that. Anyway, here we go. Hebrews chapter 4. Therefore, since the promise of entering his rest still stands, there's the heavenly one. That's the rest that still stands. And I'll show you as we go through here why I'm saying 1, 2, and 3. So this one is number 3. Let us be careful that none of you be found to have fallen short of it. So, yeah, is it possible to miss the eternal Sabbath rest? Why would that warning be there if it wasn't possible? Let us be careful that none of you be found to have fallen short of it. For we also have had the gospel preached to us just as they did, but the message they heard was of no value to them. Listen, because those who heard it did not combine it with faith. How about that? And if you look in your footnote, it says because they disbelieved. Well, that's the same thing. They didn't combine it with faith or they disbelieved it, whichever way you want to word it. That's why they fell short. We also have had the gospel preached to us. It's the gospel of Jesus that was preached to us, just as they did. And you'll see enough evidence that Jesus was actually present in the Old Testament as the second person of the Godhead, though hadn't been born yet as Jesus. And I know that could sound confusing, but there's 1, 2, and 3, and the second one showed up even in the Old Testament, just not as the person Jesus yet. Okay, so anyway, but the message they heard was of no value to them. So let us be careful, because the message that we hear might be of no value to us if we don't combine it with faith. And that's why Hebrews chapter 11 is so important. Verse 3, now we who have believed enter that rest. That's the third rest, heaven. Just as God has said, so I declared on oath in my anger, they shall never enter my rest. Okay, before you go on, think about this. God declared on oath in his anger that the Israelites would never enter his rest. Is he talking about 1, 2, or 3? Because the first one happened in the beginning of time, the third one will happen at the end of time, and the second one happened in the Jewish nation. So which rest was God prophesying about here in Psalm 95:11? That's where that comes from, Psalm 95:11. So that's a prophecy. All right. So God declared on oath in his anger, they shall never enter my rest. Is he talking about 1, 2, or 3? Or 1 and 2, or 2 and 3, or 1 and 3, or all 3? All right. Well, let's read on and we'll find out. And yet his work, God's work, has been finished since the creation of the world. For somewhere he has spoken about the seventh day in these words, and on the seventh day God rested from all his work. That's number 1, God's Sabbath, when God took the seventh day off and rested from all his work. And again, in the passage above, he says, they shall never enter my rest. So it seems to be saying from that he's talking about number 1, because he just associated that with God's rest. And again, in the passage above, he says, they shall never enter my rest. Well, how could they enter his rest if it's number 1? Because that was a long time ago, even when the Hebrew nation was being told this. So that's where he goes on to verse 6. It still remains that some will enter that rest, and those who formerly had the gospel preached to them did not go in because of their disobedience. You see, lack of faith or disbelief results in disobedience. So it was their disobedience that kept them out. Well, that's why they didn't go into the promised land. Therefore, God again set a certain day, calling it today, when a long time later he spoke through David, as was said before, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts, because he doesn't want our hearts to get hard because of unbelief and disobedience. You see, disbelief leads to disobedience. Faith leads to obedience, which is the point I want to make in chapter 11 when we get there. Faith leads to obedience and to good works. But here we're talking about obedience. If faith leads to obedience, then lack of faith or disbelief leads to disobedience. It works both ways. Okay. I'm sorry if this is getting confusing. I'm trying not to. It's just the fastest finger in the West. Okay. Greg, are you a genius by any chance? Jan, yeah, that's the time I requested it. Gregory, wait. He also said something along the lines of not so smart man. That also wasn't on your bingo card. I remember. You're good. Okay. I'm getting the feeling that this isn't too interesting. I remember the time when Billy read about Solomon and blowed raspberries and put thumbs down. Ahmed, I also apologize. Okay, great. You just didn't know. Solomon would say a time for you. Okay. You just didn't know. No harm intended, no harm done. Hello, Muslim warrior Aniket. Hi, Billy. Love from India. Back to you. Ahmed. Hey, anything. Alrighty. Verse 8. For if Joshua had given them rest in the promised land, the second rest, God would not have spoken later about another day, the third rest. There remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of God, because Joshua didn't give it to them, the kind of rest that the author of Hebrews is talking about. Joshua couldn't give that to them. It didn't take place yet because it's heaven. There remains then a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For anyone who enters God's rest, number 3, rests also from his own work, just as God did from his, in number 1. Let us therefore make every effort to enter that rest. Number 3, we don't need to worry about keeping the Sabbath, number 2, anymore. It was part of the old covenant legal system, so that no one will fall by following their example. There it is again, of disobedience because of lack of faith. That's why it's so important that we strengthen our faith so that we don't miss God's rest. It's too important because it's eternal. So that's what he's talking about there. And sorry, I ran through that kind of quickly, but you just have to keep those 3 separated in your mind as you're talking about 1, 2, or 3. And I think that will help if you go back and read it again. And by all means, if you still have questions about it, I would be happy to do that again or do it in a little different way. I did go through it maybe too quickly.
I gotta lay down.
Oh, go ahead.
I was trying to keep them out of there.
Oh, no, I don't mind they come in.
Okay.
Ow. Hi, buddy. Hello, Stellian. Nice to see you. Didn't know you were here. Okay, I'm glad. I'm glad that helped, Lighthouse. I really am. I really don't mind. I don't think it was a detour because it's all part of the same mind of the same God. We haven't seen Henriette yet. Nope, we sure haven't. You got it, Billy. Thank you, Stillian. Stillian, you are just dear to my heart. You popped in at a great time. Honestly, I'm just always happy to see you. And I'm happy to see everybody. Don't get me wrong. I always hate when I point out one particular person because I don't want everybody else to think, like somebody said, that I'm showing favoritism. Well, you know, and I'm not saying that I'm trying to show favoritism to anybody ever, anytime. But let me say that Jesus had 12 regular companions. The apostles, they were disciples. And out of those 12, there were three that stuck with him more than the others: Peter, James, and John. So he had those three that were favorites out of the 12. And out of the three, John was his favorite. And so Jesus had a favorite, because John even calls himself the disciple whom Jesus loved. Well, didn't Jesus love all of them? Of course he did. But did he have a close one to him, to his heart? I think so. And I don't think that's wrong. I don't think Jesus was showing favoritism to the point of making other people feel bad. So when I say I'm happy to see Ethan, I mean that. I'm always very happy to see Jan. I'm happy to see Gregory. I'm happy when Lighthouse pops in and is here and shares thoughts and good thoughts. I'm happy to see Muslim Warrior. Okay. I really, truly am happy when people pop in here. It's just that every once in a while I see a certain name and I'm thinking, well, I'm glad that one's here now. I'm glad that one's here. But I really, truly feel that way just about everybody. Henriette, if you're watching, happy birthday. We haven't seen Henriette yet. It was just very close since it's Hebrew. Thanks for going a bit further in chapter 4. You're welcome. It was just very close. Okay, since it's the book of Hebrew. Yeah, not a problem at all. I'm happy to do that. Message deleted by Gregory. Ethan, once Enoch comes to mind. Favored by God. There you go. That's great. And here's another one. The Bible says Moses had a personal relationship with God face to face. And that doesn't mean he spoke to God's face and vice versa, or he would have died. Okay. But the terminology face to face in the Hebrew language means intimately close. So nobody had that kind of an intimately close relationship with God apart from Moses. But Abraham was called God's friend, right? Abraham. So I think what that means is God loves us all equally, and he wants us to know that. But there's nothing wrong with God saying what he says about Enoch and Abraham and Moses and David. David was described as a man after God's own heart. So don't you think that because he was the greatest king of Israel and was the most blessed of all kings, well, Solomon was pretty blessed too, I must admit. But don't you think that God had a favorable position towards David as well? I don't know why I'm talking about all this. I think it's okay to just tell people I'm so happy to see you. But you know, I apologize if I messed up. Thank you, Billy. You're welcome. I think just seeing his compassion and how he uses his gifts and talents to serve the Lord in such a magnificent way, and how so many people, he says, it's only been 50. you know, I think that's an incredible amount in a dangerous place to do what you have been doing at such a young age. It makes my heart swell with pride, and probably does all the rest of us on here who know you now. But that causes me to just think very highly of you. Uh, I don't know. everybody here has a gift and they use it all differently. I know that too. And it's not fair because some gifts are more out front and other gifts are more behind the scenes, and each one is equally as important to the kingdom. I know that too. I preach those things, I teach those things, I believe those things. But sometimes the people behind the scenes that are just prayer warriors, they don't get as much recognition as somebody that crosses borders into hostile countries and rescues people. But each one is important to the kingdom of God, right? I mean, it takes all of us to get the job done. Together, we work for the kingdom. So, anyway, I don't know why, for some reason, I'm not Billy's favorite, lol. Yeah, but you're getting up there. I think you're a cool guy. Or 70-year-old woman, whichever you prefer. Anyway, okay, my love. Jehovah, what is that? Thanks, bye. Okay, not sure what was going on there. Oh, stop this, please. Okay. I don't even want to know, apparently. Okay, my love. Really? When you stop with the gullible jokes, Ahmed, yeah. Muslim or she just told you. LOL. Gregory 9:28. He will appear a second time, not to bear sin, but to bring salvation to those who are waiting for him, to those who are waiting for him. That's right. So don't grow weary, okay? Let your faith grow. And don't get overwhelmed with life, because God has solutions for everything. That's kind of the points I want to make when we get back to Hebrews chapter 11. But he's given me lots of gifts, but I would say creativity, yes. And, doesn't the kingdom of God need creative people as well? Or would you say those are ideas people? Some people are gifted with the ideas, the creative ability to come up with things, and other people are gifted with the ability to carry them out. Some people are so creative and so able to come up with great ideas that sometimes they don't even follow through with them because their mind's already planning on the next creative idea. And so God needs those people to create those ideas for the kingdom. And then there are people who say, wow, I would have never thought of that, but I have the gift of service. There are some people that are gifted to serve, and they'll say, that's a brainstorm, and I'd like to help pull that one off. That's how the kingdom works together. Okay, one plants, one waters, etc. God gives it the growth. Well, the same with our different gifts and talents. My wife is an administrative person. I couldn't live without her. I am not administrative at all. I do not keep good records. I do not remember to write things down. If I do write them down, I forget where I put them, or I get lost in the mess and the shuffle. And I'm just not administrative. That's not one of my gifts. And I'm okay with that because there are plenty of administrative people in my life who are willing to administrate because it comes easy to them. That's their gift, and they enjoy doing it. And there are other people who are great at encouraging, and they just and they're not giving people false flattery. They're truly people that love to give truth of encouragement, because we live in such a discouraging world and nobody hears anything encouraging. And so if you have the gift of encouragement, that gift is just as important, I believe, as all the other ones, maybe even a little more. Nope, I don't want to put them on, I don't want to give them numbers of importance because they're all important. Um, Kumar, Pastor Navajivan from India. Is that who you are, Kumar? Pastor Navajivan from India. Cool. Nice to have you here. Aniket, your views on Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he was a nice kid when he was a kid. I think he's a good actor, but I think he's very lost. And unless he finds the Lord, it's very sad. I do understand. I don't want to spread gossip, so I'm not even going to say it, but I do believe he's gotten himself into some bad situations. Gregory, Billy, apart from teaching, which gifts are given to you? I think the gift of baldness. Oh boy. Yes, some of us are gifted that way. Sorry, those of you who don't have that gift. Anyway, I don't want to say Gregory only because it's the left hand shouldn't know what the right hand's doing. So if I'm gifted in any other ways, for me to just run down the entire list because it would go from here to I'd probably take me all the way through to tomorrow. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. It just sounds like you're tooting your own horn. So if God's given me those gifts, you tell me. I mean, what do you think? Because I don't want to do that. Sounds. I know I wouldn't be boasting, but it sure would sound like it. I mean, it's all glory to God, but I don't want to. I just don't want to take that chance. Invisible, Stelian. The video I sent you was held as church service in Iran. I was shocked to see it was full. People didn't have enough space to sit. It was a small building, but it had a mosque out in the mountains. Yeah, that was cool. Stelian and probably four or five other guys were singing, and there was a little kid there, and he was doing a different part than they were, and it was just really beautiful. And and if that's called chanting, that gives me a whole different perspective on chanting, because it was really beautiful. I let my wife listen to it as well. I was going to pull it up on my computer and play it, but I didn't know if you would want me to do that or not, so I didn't call it up. But I would love for everybody to hear that. And you wouldn't recognize him. He got his haircut. He said to me, "Now here's the challenge for you. Tell me which one is me." And of course, I guessed the wrong one because I wasn't expecting a guy with a nice haircut. You know, it would be like me coming on this live stream with a full head of hair and say, "Now guess which one is me." Well, it might not be quite as hard since I'm the only one here. Anyway, thanks for sharing that, Stillian. And if you ever do want it broadcast here to the live stream, I'll be happy to do that. Kumar, awesome explanation, brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Ethan, I have a prayer written on my wall. God makes me an example of godly masculinity. Keep me humble, make me wise as Solomon, strong as Samson. Mold me into a man that can walk with you like Enoch. That's beautiful, really, truly. God, make me an example of godly masculinity. I like that because in America today, masculinity has become toxic, so they call it. And they ridicule it, they put it down, and they believe you're got problems because you want to be a masculine man. Isn't that the way God made men to be? I surely don't have a problem with it. I don't think, don't want to say too much here, but I think godly women appreciate a masculine man, somebody who can be a godly masculine man, somebody who will make wise decisions, somebody who will protect the family, somebody who will provide willingly and happily for the family because he loves his family and he realizes God put him in charge to do those very things, and he will fight to the tooth and nail to protect his wife and his kids if he has to. And so I think that's a great thing to ask God for. And all those ones you said, keep me humble, make me wise as Solomon, strong as Samson, mold me into a man that can walk with you like Enoch. That's that's a tremendous prayer. I, I think that would be a great prayer for every man on here to consider. Take a screenshot and then print it out. But above all, your will be done. Yep. But above all, your will be done. Jan, that's cool, Ethan. I hope that, I really do. I hope that would be a prayer for every man to be a godly, masculine man. I want to get a cane Corso and name him Samson. I want to get a cane Corso. I'm thinking that's a dog. I think of cane as the thing I'm going to need to walk with here pretty soon. And Corso, I have no idea what that is. So I'm going to guess it's a dog. Samson's a good name. Ethan, says Gregory, you can consider yourself as a victim of theft because I'm stealing that. That's great. Jan, LOL. I've also heard about churches being disguised as mosques, but never seen any actually. That's such a shame, isn't it, when a church has to be disguised as a mosque? And I guess you see some Muslims coming in, you just hurry up and change the sermon, right? Allah Akbar. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring back any bad memories for anybody. Sorry about that. How can we contact you, brother? I have an email address that you're welcome to use, and it's called Billy the Dude 03 at gmail.com. And Billy the Dude 03 is all one word. No spaces, I mean. Billy, Billy, the Dude, Dude, and 03 at gmail.com. You're contacting him right now. Oh my goodness. We've got some smart alecks in the room. I want to talk to you, and we want to invite to India to our church. Oh, cool. That's really cool. And mobile number, yeah, I will give my mobile number to you in the email so that I don't broadcast it here over live channel. I don't mind giving that out, but I just don't want people with bad intentions. Of course, I can always block people. I just the more information, the more private information you give about yourself, the more people will try to find you and your address. And some people want that to do harm. And I just try not to give too much personal information out ever. Okay, James, notice we do not debate other religions on this channel. Yeah, we'll be happy to address a comment, a thought, or question, but we're not going to get into lengthy debates because too many false religions out there, and as a result, it would take up a whole lot of our time. We want to talk about Jesus and Christianity and God and the Holy Spirit, and not a whole bunch of demonic teachings. Anyway, we spread the word of Jesus Christ. Feel free to ask questions about Christianity or general non-political questions, please. Kumar, we are praying especially for USA. Nowadays, Christian population is reducing. Yes. Sad but true, is it not? James says occasionally current affairs are permitted if they relate to Christianity. Yeah, such as what's going on in Iran right now and people that got delivered from that country now, thanks to the guy who just posted. It's no problem, Billy. The kid was actually an orphan. Oh, man. The parents are not anymore, so the church has taken him in. I expected you to get me in the first, and yes, that was chanting. It's just singing the gospel. Can I ask you a personal question, Stellian? And if you don't want to answer it, don't. But I was wondering, is that also how you found the place because you were kind of kicked out and at a young age and needed some place to go? Did somebody recommend you go there and they would help you, and they did? I mean, I'm just trying to piece the puzzle pieces together of your history. I know you were 15 when you got ousted, and that's too young, and so you needed some place, and maybe the people that rescued you suggested, well, just come here for a while. And then the while, thankfully for you, turned into long term, and you ended up helping them do what they did for you. You ended up helping them do for others what they did for you is what I'm trying to say. I'm just wondering, and if that's too personal, don't answer. Okay. Billy, couldn't tell you apart. No, I couldn't, and because I was looking for the guy with hair, because that's the only picture I've seen of him. And so this guy had a nice haircut, and I just didn't think that would be him. So I thought it was the guy standing over on the left, and here it was the guy standing over on the right. But in fairness, he had his back to the camera pretty much, and the camera kept cutting him off. Whoever was taking the video, the camera was moving, and so he was in and out of the picture. So it's his fault. He said, don't get a haircut and then ask me to identify you in a lineup. Jan, it's a beast dog. Wow. Is it bigger than a mastiff? Is it bigger than a pony? Is a beast dog, is that just means a big dog? A beast dog. Huge. Yeah. So is it bigger than a mastiff? I'm just curious. I want a cane corso too. Oh, I'm thinking what I was thinking of. Why would you want a cane even? But you're talking about a dog, a big dog. I'm amazed at all the things I don't know when I come on here. You guys bring up things that I've never heard of before, and you all know what you're talking about. I got to get my head out of the sand. Muslim warrior. Well, what did you expect, Stillian? You all dress in black. Just the haircut gets you. But yeah, there you go. Thank you, Muslim warrior. See, she's on my side. Just kidding. Gregory, at this point, this goes without saying, but Billy saying wasn't on my bingo card either. Yeah, it was probably a bad thing to say, actually. Name it Samson, Jan says. Almost got one from a shelter, which is beyond rare. He was one, but someone got him. Yeah, it's too bad. I can't imagine trying to keep a dog like that in food and cleaning up the backyard afterwards. And my goodness, I already have tight bedroom space with these two. And, but, can't imagine a huge dog. And I know some people probably went, oh, he lets his dog sleep in bed. Yes, I'm one of those guys. I do. I love my dogs. And I see on YouTube where if your dog sleeps in bed with you, it's because he wants to protect you. And my dogs want to protect their mommy and daddy. And they also are comfortable falling into a deep sleep with you because they trust you and they know you will protect them. So we got each other's backs. And that's really helpful because to me, because if somebody breaks in to the house, for example, my dogs would hear them long before I would. And they would alert me because they bark through the night if there's strange noise somewhere. And I've already gone up with my gun and investigated the noises just in case I needed to defend myself. I'm not going to let somebody come in and hurt me or my family. That's a definite. You can count on that. So anyway, my dogs are good for that purpose. Not that anybody wanted to know. Did you know that a horse is a few horsepower and a pony is 1 horsepower? Therefore, it should be called a pony power. Yeah. No, I didn't know that, James. Like I said, I find there's a lot I don't know. LOL, Gregory. Stillian, yes, I was raised by the monastery and by the monk brothers. Thus, my name is Stillian, my aunt's surname, and the monastic order is the second one. I like the church because they do stuff like this. Yeah, I can understand that. I can see that perfectly, how you would appreciate what the church has done for you. I get it. I wish the church would, churches everywhere, I wish they would reach out and help people. That's what God designed the church to do. That's why we exist, don't we, as the church, to care about others, to not just to bring them to Christ. That in itself is important, but to actually care about their physical needs. Like James says, what good is if, if you see somebody without food and shelter, clothing, and say, go, I wish you well, keep warm, you know, and that's what the church does. Oh, that's too bad. I'm sorry for that person. But then they don't step up. And, I'm going to get on my soapbox just for a second, okay? The church is supposed to be funded by the Christians. And God asks from us the tithe, okay? And that's 10% of our income. And it seems like a lot when you first start, but what if God asked for 50% of your income? You see, 10%, I think we're getting away with pretty cheap, actually, to finance the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of God, on just 10%. But if all Christians gave 10% of their income, there'd be enough money to help everybody, to feed the poor in the whole city or beyond. Okay, so I am also aware, according to statistics, that most Christians don't give more than 2%. Well, isn't that what Malachi says? You're robbing God. And the people say, how are we robbing God? And he says, in tithes and offerings. He says, test me on this. You give the tithe, and I'll pour storehouse of heaven into your life so that you won't know how to handle it all. That's God's promise. And very few times does God say, test me on something, but that's one he does. And I'm here to tell you, both Jerry and I tithed even before we got married, and we've tithed ever since. And we've had enough. Well, I don't want to say it. It sounds like you're starting to boast again, but you can't outgive God, is the point I want to make. God will always not only take care of your needs, but give you replacement money so that you can continue to give more money. He doesn't give you money to put back in your bank. He gives you more money so that you can give more money and more money. And that's how God's always handled the tithe when we've been faithful with that. And we've been faithful with that now for 42 years since we've been married, and probably 5 years before that, each of us individually. So God has honored his promise. God blesses the tithe. So I'm just throwing that out there, Christians. The kingdom needs financed. You don't need to have bingos. You don't need to have potluck dinners. You don't need to sell things in the church. The Christians are supposed to care enough about the church. Now, you got to have a good church, okay? A lot of churches I wouldn't support, but I'm talking about the actual true ones, the good ones. And so that's what I have always done, and that's what God has always blessed. Okay. And, think about it this way too. If there's not a church around that you can support because of the way the church is, you can send that tithe to a Christian. Doesn't have to go through the church. You're still that's because that's what the church is supposed to do with it, is help people. So if you cut out the middleman and just help people with your tithe, that counts. It does. That counts. Um, okay. Let's see. James, LOL. Taking orphans and giving people a second try in life. And when they look at you, I bet they look at you with pride. It worked for that one. I, I'm glad you said that about that little kid. My heart goes out to him. And uh, I know you're going to be a big brother, a good big brother, I meant to say. I know you're going to be a good big brother and show these people love. And you might, I'm not saying you, Stellan, I don't know how you divide up the responsibilities there if everybody becomes the big brother or the father figure. But he needs somebody to teach him how to be a man. He needs somebody to roll around on the ground with him and wrestle. And, you know, I'm sure that somebody does that there, but you're the closest age to him, I would guess. Anyway, just my thoughts on that. Jan, I will get one when I get some land, tumbleweeds and all. Lighthouse. He owes us nothing, yet provides. He's self-eternally sufficient, yet wants us. We hit as his creation. Yet he loves us. We push him so far, yet he is willing. How can you not cry about Jesus? Absolutely. And isn't that what love is? It's accepting people just the way they are and wanting to see the very best for them. That's agape love. You know, you can define it as unconditional positive regard. You know, when people put definitions to words like that to love, I say, well, what does that mean? And then you have to define that. So why not just go to the easy to understand definition? Because it's what God did for us. Accepted people just the way they were and are, and died for them, wants to see the very best for them. Love is sacrificial. So he died for us to enable us to have a relationship with God, get saved, and go to heaven. How about it? That's what love does. It wants to see the very best for people. And it might require sacrifices from time to time. Kumar, why modern Billy Graham's not coming from USA? Oh, because they got Billy the Dude. I don't know. I think that the church age in the USA is becoming a thing of the past. And he was an evangelist who could fill stadiums. And preachers today get into scandals before they get into worldwide evangelism. I know it's sad. I hate to talk about it, but it's the truth. Jan, True Lighthouse, Campfire Tech. What's your thoughts on the little season of Satan in Revelation 20 and the war of Gog and Magog? Well, he's going to be loosed for a little season, is he not? And if he's not completely loosed already, wow, what's that season going to be like? It's going to be time of despair and chaos. But anyway, Gog and Magog, one's a city, one's a king, and they're supposed to come from the north. Could be, for a while there, we thought it might be Iran. Well, for a while before that, we thought it might have been Russia. So who knows? It's some place over there in the eastern side of the Middle East or the western side of Asia. Could be China. Who knows? China's not really from the north, but if they team up with Russia and come through that way. And of course, the goal is to destroy Israel, which is what Iran has wanted to do ever since the Ayatollah. Not Iran. Okay, I take that back, you guys. It's not the people of Iran. It was the crazy in the regime. It was, now it says I'm live again. It was the crazy people running the country. The people of Iran are wonderful people. And I could get a couple amens already from a couple people on here because they are wonderful people. And they've always had a good relationship with Israel until the mullahs and the Ayatollah came on the scene. And then it was death to America, death to Israel, big Satan, little Satan. So guess what, Ayatollah? Death to you and all the rest of your henchmen and your cronies and your puppets and your evil. Okay? Thank you, Israel. Thank you, President Trump. And I mean that from my heart. I want to see that regime annihilated. And that's what President Trump said. He's not going to accept anything less than total surrender. They want to negotiate now. He said, no, you had your opportunity to negotiate. Now we are at war. And the only negotiation will be is your unconditional surrender. And I don't think they're going to do that. Let's see. What's your thoughts on the, yeah, okay. Hit him. Okay. Little typo there. Yeah, I didn't know, but thanks for correcting that. Jan, I was just thinking about all the chances he gives us. Yeah, how about it, Jan? That's unconditional love, isn't it? I always say God has plan B. If we mess up plan A, he's always got a plan B and C and D and all the way down to X, Y, and Z, and then starts over again with double A, double B, double. I mean, God, you know, when Jesus taught Peter to forgive 70 times 7, I came to the realization that that must be how God forgives. The perfect number of forgiveness, however much forgiveness you need, that's how much God forgives. So, yeah, God will never run out of giving us chances. Kumar, have you heard about Philip Anthony Michael? Says Ethan. Worth a listen. He's the new Billy Graham, if you ask me. I didn't hear of him. Um, Gangster Boy, Billy, I want to ask one question. Go for it from you. Yeah, is money everything in this world? I don't mean to go like that's dumb. No, I mean money is nothing in this world except for a potential God for some people to take our allegiance away from the God. So we have to be real careful not to let money become too important because you can store it up, you can build bigger barns, you can buy stocks and bonds, you can buy the world. But what good does it do if a man gains the whole world yet forfeits his soul? What can a man give in exchange for his soul? You're not going to, not you, but people are not going to buy their way into heaven. Here, God, let me offer you some money so that you look favorably upon me. That's not how it works. So money is nothing in the bigger scheme of things. Of course, yeah, it's nicer to have money than not have money, but money is given for us to use properly and to help other people with. Okay, how much money, how many millions or billions does one person need? So I'm not looking to be a millionaire. I'm not looking to be, rich in any way, because God has always blessed me and my family with food, clothing, and shelter, and all our needs are met. We even have had a little bit of play money, and anytime we get like we're getting some money back for income tax check return, and it's already spent because there are things that come up that are expensive, but God has already supplied the money before before the expense even arose. So we knew we were getting back a nice chunk of change, and then the expenses started coming, and they're already covered. That's just the way God works. So I don't look for money as something for me to get more of. I look for more money for me as something to give more of. Um, sorry here. He has a bad image, can't say much about him. Who, Trump? Well, it all depends on who you're listening to, I suppose. If you're listening to the liberal far left news, yep, he's going to have a bad image. If you listen to conservative commentators uh, and news broadcasters, he's got an excellent image because they tell the truth. The far left only lies about him to make him look bad, to ruin his presidency and to ruin his party. I mean, I'm sorry to say that, but that's pretty much what's been going on. Um, Gangster money certainly isn't important except for enough for survival. The world already provides, and no amount of money can buy happiness past basic survival. And even then, many people aren't happy. Um, because they say in America the highest suicide rate after teenagers is doctors and lawyers, and they're some of the two most well-paid groups of people in the country or in the world. Doctors and lawyers, the highest suicide rate after teenagers. I think elderly come in there too. I think it's teenagers and elderly, and then um, doctors and lawyers. Might be wrong about that. I'm giving you statistics from quite a while ago. Still iron, yes, Billy. Usually, the youngest monks takes the responsibility of raising the child. After they are 15, they have a choice to stay or get into normal life. And since you came at 15, you chose to stay. That's obvious. Without my money at all, let's see, without my money at all and are struggling to survive, still finding happiness despite the bad situation. Yeah, it doesn't take money to be happy, doesn't it? It does it. It doesn't take money to be happy, does it? But it's nice to have some money to live on, but that's all we need it for. Then again, at 20 and 28, chose normal life or monastic life. It's nice that they say you have the option to choose. I can still get out, but not happen for now. I love helping people. Yeah, just the way you've been wording that just puts a little concern in me that you can still get out like you're being held against your will. And I don't think any church or monastery or anybody has any right to hold anybody, to say an age of 20 or 28 or 15 or 20, 28, and you can make your decision only then. What if you're 22 and you decide you want to leave? That language just concerns me a little bit, just a little bit. Gangster Billy, I was seeing a video in which a richer guy was treated respectfully and the poor guy was treated badly. I felt pity for him. I wish I could help him. Yeah, there you go, because even the book of James talks about that. If you show favoritism to the wealthy and you ignore the poor, saying, here, you sit on the floor, but you have money here. You take this seat up here. You sit right here. That's a sin. Showing favoritism like that is a sin. And James compares that sin with adultery and murder. So in God's eyes, favoritism is just as bad as the other two. In other words, a sin is a sin is a sin. Now, in man's eyes, you might say, well, just to show favoritism to a rich person isn't as bad as killing him or cheating on his wife or something like that. But that's in human eyes. We tend to categorize degrees of sin. But in God's eyes, all sin is wrong, all sin. So we got to be real careful not to look at what we call terrible sinners and say, oh, I can't stomach that person because of the sins, like prostitutes, for example, have bad reputations, and who wants one of them to come into your church? Jesus. That's who. That's who God wants to come into the church. Jesus says, I didn't come to call the righteous, but the sinners. So that needs to be our attitude. Jesus ate with the tax collectors and prostitutes, did he not? Yoli Flores said, hi. Hello there. Yoli, did I pronounce your name right? Muslim warrior, Stilian, don't you have another chant in Turkey you did yourself only? Yeah, I'm still waiting for that. Little audio or video of you teaching me how to pronounce your name. I really would like that. If you want to. So many rules in this world I find hard to cope with. There are expectations on you from every side. And plus, the society has been made that way that it can only respects rich or powerful. Yeah, we've come a long way from our Christian roots, have we not? Because there everybody is equal. And nobody is better than anybody because of money, for sure, or anything else. Yes, but Billy won't recognize me. I had long hair then and a goatee, too. Yep. But that's okay. I don't mind looking at the old you. Let's see. Desi Slays. Did I get that right? Desi Slays. I love Jesus. Do you love Jesus? Of course I love Jesus. I love Jesus more than life itself. Sorry for the serious talk. No, not a problem, gangster boy. This channel is here, there, and everywhere sometimes. Sometimes we go from laughter to tears, and it's okay. We just going by where the chat's going. I'm on your trolley, so to speak. I'm on your time schedule, if you will. Desi Slays, yes, we do love the Lord and Savior. Still, I didn't mean like get out, more like leave. Okay. I can get married as a monk because Peter and the other apostles were married. Amen. Why you can't be, that's church policy. Believe in Jesus and his love to the end. Yep. Right. Church policy. How sad that the church would make a different policy than the Lord. But that's the churches. Okay, guys, it's 2 hours, and I'm just struggling a little bit. I feel like this is probably a good time to end it. I appreciate everybody being here. Um, so let's try to come back to Hebrews chapter 11 tomorrow, because it's a great, great, great chapter, and I believe everybody will benefit by it. Thank you, Sir Billy. Good live. Much love and thanks. Shalom. Alrighty. Good night to everybody. Sorry Henriette didn't show up. That's too bad. Have a nice evening, everyone. God bless. Thank you. Good night, Gangster Boy. Good night. Good night to you as well. Alrighty. See you tomorrow, Lord willing. Nighty Billy. I don't know why that one would be hidden. But anyway, good night, Muslim warrior. Good to see you as always. Take care, everybody.